Today, from supernatural to scavenger hunts, meet Misha Collins.
I think cult is probably a fair term to apply to the supernatural fandom. I think that anybody in the position of being adored by people whom they don't know has to be a little bit
strange.
Yeah, you have to find that strange.
Is it true that NASA got angry at you?
NASA did post an official tweet asking us to stop bothering the astronauts on the International Space Station. I don't know why they made such a big deal out of it. I mean, what are they doing up there that's so important?
Plus, done threesomes?
I have, yep.
You and her and
other individuals.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Misha Collins, actor, scavenger hunt host, social media darling. He plays the recently fallen angel Castiel on the hit series Supernatural. The 9th season premiered October 8th on the CW. The show airs Tuesdays at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Misha, before we talk about the show or anything, how do we explain? I'll tell you something. We had more social media questions when we sent out on our website that you were on than any guest we've had in 2 years. Explain this.
That is truly astonishing, and I wish I could explain it because that's astonishing. Really?
Yeah, really. I'm not kidding you.
Well, I mean, not to cast aspersions here, but I mean, it seems like some of the people that you've had on your show are not really household names. I mean, who is this Oprah that you had?
Nothing. Yeah, she's a nothing.
That's really amazing. I think it can be attributed to the fact that the fans of Supernatural are just incredibly avid, devoted, and eager individuals who it seems like must also be burdened by more than their fair share of questions if they're submitting that many.
But it's on CW, it's not CBS, it's not NBC. Is this a huge cult?
Yeah, I think cult is probably a fair term to apply to the supernatural fandom. It is definitely a show that is below most people's radar. Like you said, it's on a network that doesn't have the highest ratings out there. And it's been on a long time, and it's not something that the show's not a Hollywood darling, but the fan base for the show is incredibly devoted.
It's the biggest reaction we've had. Now, you say that you have an irreverent, megalomaniacal persona online. Are you an irreverent, megalomaniacal person offline?
That's an excellent question. It's funny because I think that I started, my online experimenting a couple of years ago, Twittering at the behest of the CW, and I was kind of trying to satirize the self-important Twitter celebrity.
Who talk only about themselves.
Who talk only about themselves.
Going to the grocery store today.
Exactly. And then over time, I think that snowballed to, I think I have become a bit of a self-important celebrity in the interim.
So you satirize yourself and you became what you satirize.
Sadly, that may be true. I don't know.
All right, let's talk about the show. How did you get the part? Parts. You've played parts, right?
Yeah, well, my character has gone through many different incarnations on the show, but I got
God once.
I was God at one point, which is those are kind of big shoes to fill. But it was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to work on the show because the character changes so much over time.
What was your first part? My
first part was an angel, and I just auditioned like anyone would for a guest spot.
You were a working actor.
Yep, and it was supposed to be a 3-episode arc, and that was 6 years ago. And the character was just embraced by the show and the fans. And
what is its essence?
The show, I think the show really works because it's, at its core, a story about two brothers and their personal family dynamic. But it also grapples with these incredibly epic, mythic storylines that Joseph Campbell would be proud of. You know, it's literally grappling with stories about heaven and hell and the ultimate conflicts of, you know, good and evil and
Is it an agnostic outlook?
Yes, it's I would say it's agnostic, or at the very least very theistically complicated. I mean, we have had we have had a couple of characters play the role of God.
Has the religious community objected?
The exposure that I've had to religious people religious people, people who are self-proclaimed religious people who have approached me about the show have all been supportive of it. That doesn't mean that there's not factions out there who think that it's Satan's work. But
I understand you get interesting fan mail. People send you paintings of you. They paint you.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? I mean, once every 3 years, someone will send me something, a painting with the glasses and the suspenders, and all the years I've been doing this.
I've actually done a few of you. Just so you
But how do you feel when you get these? It always feels a little like, who is this?
It feels a little surreal, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that anybody in the position of being adored by people whom they don't know has to be a little bit
strange.
Yeah, you have to find that strange.
What's the strangest fan mail you ever got? Did you pick one out?
There's a lot of competition. I think a needlepoint pillow that I got with a really beautiful photorealistic image of my face on it was pretty strange, because I'm sort of imagining laying my head on that pillow and the nightmares that would induce.
Sleeping with yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Are you married?
I am.
Children?
Yes.
How do they react to all of this for you?
Well, my children are 1 and 3, so I don't think they have any idea what's going on.
How about the wife?
My wife thinks it's very strange, and I think that she is very good at grounding me in just how flawed and...
In other words, take out the garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be right back with Supernatural's Misha Collins. I understand you started a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
A world-breaking, record-setting scavenger hunt. We're going to show some clips and some pictures, but what is this?
I went to the University of Chicago as an undergrad, and it was a very kind of dark and depressing school at the time that I was there, very academic.
Ivy of the Midwest.
Yes, we spent a lot of time in the basement of the library, but there was this one bright spot in the calendar year, which was the scavenger hunt at the University of Chicago that lasted for 3 days. And people would go drive into their, hop in their cars and drive up to Wisconsin to steal sheep and try to get tow trucks to tow other tow trucks, and
looking for things.
Looking for items for the scavenger hunt, whether it's a Hooters waitress or a MiG fighter jet or whatever it is.
So what did you do?
And this was such a great experience for me that I've always wanted to do it again. And when I started getting on the show and realized that I had some fans who strangely would kind of do things that I said, I kind of tried it out, and it's totally snowballed, and it's become this, now we've got tens of thousands. And
you do it through the show, through the internet?
We do it through,
website?
through a website that I've set up for it. It's called GISHWHES, which stands for Greatest International Scavenger Hunt the World Has Ever Seen. Yes.
Then you will admit part of you has become a little weird yourself.
A little weird,
okay.
Yeah.
You have flown into this character. Okay, we have some pictures of the different tasks. People are, all right. You as a pastry.
Yes. This was an item from this year. Dress yourself up as a truly delicious looking dessert. So this is someone's child, I'm assuming.
What's next?
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of ducks in movie theaters because that was an item from this year's scavenger hunt.
4 ducks at a movie. Misha, I'm beginning to...
Yeah, it raises questions, doesn't it?
Senator, what senator is that?
This is...
Joseph Vitale, state senator in New Jersey, wearing a sock monkey hat at work.
It's nice, I think, to find ways to get public servants to humiliate themselves. So.
And he's a Democrat.
Yes, there you go.
Interesting. The Flash in a Hadron Particle Accelerator.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
This item, it was, you have to have someone dressed as the Flash in a particle accelerator. It didn't have to be the large Hadron Particle Accelerator. It could be any, which there are a small handful of. But there were so many people bombarding these particle accelerators with requests to...
Who scores this?
I do.
You are the sole scorer.
Yeah.
The highest scoring team as a team, there are teams that do this, right?
Yes. Yes.
Highest scoring team, and this is quoted from your website, a trip to Vancouver, a chartered seaplane flight to a majestic island with Misha Collins for Fish Stew, seance, and a Viking surprise. Is that all true?
Yes. Well, I'm going to make good on the promise. I don't know what the seance is or the Viking surprise or why I included a Viking surprise on the west coast of North America, because Vikings never set foot there as far as I know. But yeah, it's last year we brought the winning team to a castle in Scotland, and it was actually quite extraordinary. And
you put up the money for this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it true that NASA got angry at you?
NASA did post an official tweet asking us to stop bothering the astronauts on the International Space Station because one of the items involved their participation, which was kind of...
You asked the astronauts to participate?
I know.
And they participated?
No, they didn't. And NASA said that they weren't allowed to.
So what's the big deal? If they weren't allowed to, they didn't participate. So.
Exactly. I don't know
why.
They
didn't like you even.
I don't know why they made such a big deal out of it. I mean, what are they doing up there that's so important?
Why don't you have me do something?
All right. That's a fantastic... You are on.
When we come back, we'll talk threesomes, seriously. Plus, Misha will take some of your thousands of questions. Stay with us. Our guest is Misha Collins, and he has his scavenger hunt. How do people get in touch to find out about the scavenger hunt?
If you want to participate in a really fun week-long scavenger hunt, go to gishwiz.com, which is GISHWHES.com.
Gishwiz.com.
Yeah.
Now I understand you're not a typical actor, a reluctant celebrity. You do not like celebrity fandom. I understand your wife has written a book. The book is titled The Threesome Handbook, a practical guide to sleeping with three. What?
I love it.
Is she talking about what I think she's talking about?
Yes, she is talking exactly about
You've
what...
done threesomes?
I have, yep.
You and her and...
And other individuals, sort of...
So you have a life where your wife is okay with another woman coming to the house?
She intermittently, she has been at times, and at other times she has not been, so...
Where is the current situation?
The current situation is change the diapers.
When the children came, that changed it?
Well, it's really hard to squeeze into the schedule at the moment.
Was it her idea or your idea?
The threesome? Well, it was her idea to write the book, and I'm not sure what the genesis of the menage a trois in the beginning was. But
you don't remember whose idea it was?
No. Well, we've been together since I was 16 years old. So.
That's how many years?
Yeah, that's 22 years.
You're 38 years old?
I am 38, yeah.
So you've had many experiences with your wife, and
yes.
One of the stages was this.
Yes.
And is it true Charlie Sheen tried to take credit for the book?
He did, which I thought was rather... it's really kind of gross plagiarism.
In the book, she describes how to do a threesome?
Yes. Yep.
Can you give me one of the things she detailed?
I can tell you. It was actually really a funny process. My wife is kind of a nerd. She has a PhD in...
Nerd?
A nerd, yeah. She has a PhD in history, and she has this tendency to want to take experiences in life and follow them through as far as she can possibly go. And in this case, she wanted to not only have a threesome, but to write the book on threesomes. So...
the children change things, right?
They do. I don't know if you... do you have kids?
I have kids,
yeah.
Grown and small.
They do change things.
They do change.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some social media questions for you. And we have thousands. We're going to do a separate segment, but these are some for this. A Minion wants to know if there has been any good behind the scenes pranks so far this season.
I don't think there have been any good behind-the-scenes pranks so far this season. On our show, the biggest problem I would say that we're confronted with is that we waste a lot of takes laughing. So there will often be, for instance, a broomstick in my crotch right below frame that one of the other actors is sort of fondling me with. And that it is really a difficult environment to work in. And I'm sure Warner Brothers cringes at the overtime that we rack up because I can't stop laughing. So there's nothing good about it. It's just sort of this chronic...
Misha, as a serious actor,
yes,
this is not Gone with the Wind.
This is not Gone with the Wind, yeah.
Number two, XIOCUS asks, what's your stance on getting Congress to participate in Gishwiz as a team-building exercise?
That's a great idea. If the Republicans and Democrats could cross the aisle and participate in a scavenger hunt, I think that they certainly couldn't get any less done than they're getting now.
Correct. At Shine on Sean asks, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self? I have no idea what that question means.
I think I might tell myself to be patient. Yeah. Persistent, not give up.
At Enshian Bug tweets, you're a former White House intern under Clinton.
Yes.
Did you leave the political scene? Is that it? Were you interested in politics?
I was. I for some reason grew up thinking that I was going to go into politics. I think that I thought that was the best way to affect change in the world. And then I got an internship at the White House, and I was working at National Public Radio. And I was really disappointed by the experience. And I decided to get out of that and go somewhere where people had integrity. Hollywood, yeah.
Did you know the other famous intern?
Miss Lewinsky.
Yes.
No, she was there 3 months before me, so we did not overlap.
At Spin TVD asks, can you twerk? Don't lie, it says. Twerk.
Twerk. I've heard this term. What the hell?
I don't know
what does it mean?
I don't know what. Oh, that is the kind of dance that Miley Cyrus does.
Yeah. No, I don't. I can't. I guess. I don't. What does it stand for?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It has to stand for something.
It has to.
At ID New York tweets, can you ask Misha if he sees any similarities between himself and Castiel?
That's a very interesting, probing question. Castiel, the character that I play on Supernatural, is an angel who has been for years trying to fit in with humanity and just doesn't quite fit in. He's always a misfit. And I guess there's something about myself. I feel like I've always felt like I don't quite fit in.
So it
resonates. Yeah, it's typecasting. Yeah.
At Believe in Heroes wants to know if you have a dream role or a character you've always wanted to play.
Yeah, I have always wanted to play a spy-type character who goes into disguises and uses lots of different accents, and I don't know why I wanted to do that, but
You'd like to star in a film by a famous spy writer kind of thing?
Yeah, that sounds...
At Betsy Garcia 16 asks, how are the kids?
The kids are good. The kids are good.
What are they and what are their names?
I have my eldest child is West. He's 3 years old. Yes, West. And my daughter is Mason. She's 1. They're sick pretty much constantly. Yesterday I was at the playground and West went to the drinking fountain and he pressed the button, and then rather than just drinking the water, he just licked all of the metal around the water fountain dispenser. And so I think that this is indicative. This is why they're such vectors. They're always sick.
Why did you name him West?
I don't know.
This one's from @FangirlsAreCool. Any new big projects coming up for Random Acts?
Random Acts is a charity that I founded with my Twitter followers a few years ago. It started as just a little seed, and I quickly saw that, wow, they're really incredibly responsive, and so now we have a staff of 20 volunteers and an annual operating budget of $500,000, and we do projects like we just finished building a really amazing community center and orphanage in Haiti. And we're about to, I think we're going to do something in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua next year. And we do things like we just reunited a woman who was slave traded and brought to the States.
You do random good acts.
We try to, yeah.
More after the break with Misha Collins. I'm here with Misha Collins, one of the stars of Supernatural on the CW, and who seems to have supernatural powers in the social media world. We received more Twitter questions from Misha than for any guest ever. We got so many, in fact, we've decided to vote an entire segment to it. At You're a Cool Bean X wants to know if you're ever going to write a book yourself.
I do occasionally fantasize about writing books, and then I change my mind.
Why?
I don't know. I like to read books, so...
At Mrs. Jessie Reedus asks, what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
That's a difficult question to answer. There was, I once, my wife and I smuggled ourselves into China, buried in the back of a vegetable truck.
Why?
Because we didn't have visas to get into the country and we really wanted to go. But in hindsight, I see that that was maybe not that smart.
Were you caught?
Yes.
How did you get
By
it?
the butt of a machine gun.
How did you get out?
We we played innocent. We acted like we had fallen asleep in the vegetables, and I think that they didn't really care about it. They realized that a couple of backpackers like us weren't going to really bring down the government. Yeah.
To bomb Shanghai.
Yeah.
Mrs. At Spotnikatel tweets, is there any person, concept, or philosophy that has inspired Misha Collins in his charity work?
That's a good question. Yeah, actually, strangely, I think there's one woman that sticks out in my head. When I was 6, I grew up in a very poor family. My mother was on welfare, and we were homeless at times. And there was a kid in my class, his mother gave my mom $100 so that she had money to buy us Christmas presents one year. It was a woman that we didn't really know, and it was a small gesture for her, but it made a huge difference in our family, and I remember that to this day. So it's the idea that you do, that really even small acts of kindness can make a profound difference to somebody else.
At Word Beast, an important question. Does the cast make out with one another periodically? And it says, be honest.
On Supernatural, we have really long, tiresome work days, and at times, I would say, just to comfort ourselves, we do have sex, but we do it. We try to do it tastefully.
At the set?
Yeah, on set, obviously.
Okay. At Hetty Bobcat wants to know, what do his wife and family think of his hugely fanatical fan base?
I think that my wife is mostly just in a state of denial about the fans. So I think that that's a healthy approach.
Nicola Piccola has a challenge for you. How many grapes can Misha fit in his mouth?
So that's why there's a bowl of grapes on the table.
I was wondering, and also, what are your thoughts on sloths?
I think that sloths are actually aptly named, and man,
You don't have to do this. It's not but if you want to, go ahead.
This is like a circus freak trick. These are big grapes too.
Why are you known to putting a lot of big things in your mouth?
Do realize how that question came out?
I don't care. At this point, I don't care.
I think that might have been my threshold.
All right, one grape.
Yeah.
At Haley Painter wants to know that Supernatural saved my life. It says, I don't have a question, just thank you for being such a great cast.
Well, thank you.
Wow, you saved his life.
That's really, nice to hear.
At Yellenly asked, does the amount of influence you have over people ever scare or worry you?
Well, I think that it would be pretty megalomaniacal to think that I had a scary amount of influence over people, so I'm okay with saying no.
And finally, at Carla Dammit tweets, I want you to snap his suspenders oh so gently. I think she's talking about
you're the his.
Yeah, because Sharon Stone does this all the time.
Oh, my God.
You want to do it, Misha?
With this, I want to do. But gently. Yeah, that was nice.
Thank you, Misha. He'll never be back. We play a game called If You Only Knew, so I asked you some quick questions. Ready?
Okay.
First person you kissed.
Gail Rogers.
Where was this?
It was in the mud in the riverbed right in front of my house. I was 3.
What city?
Billerica, Massachusetts.
Billerica, Massachusetts. You ever find out what happened to her?
No, great question.
What keeps you up at night?
Where the hell is Gail Rogers?
That would keep me up, too. What's a guilty pleasure you enjoy?
I enjoy guilty pleasure.
A book would be one. Anyway, okay. What's the strangest thing about Canada? You shoot in Vancouver, right? Which is a beautiful city.
Vancouver is a beautiful city. And now both of my kids were born in Vancouver, so I have 2 Canadian children. And the strangest thing about Canada is the Canadians. They're just so damn nice.
They are.
I mean, it is incredible.
They are. That's
really
true.
are.
Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto.
It is a stereotype that is based on truth.
It's based on truth.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
And they live in our shadow. The shadow of America hovers over them.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if they're some sort of automatons.
Yeah. If you could have something named after you, what would it be?
A sandwich. Like a Reuben, but not a Reuben, a Misha.
A Misha. A hidden talent you have we may not know about.
I can curl my tongue.
Oh, my God, don't. How did you find that talent?
I actually saw someone else did it, and then I practiced for about 2 weeks.
Do it again once. Okay. That's enough. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you.
Thanks to my guest, the multi-talented Misha Collins. Supernatural airs Tuesdays at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And remember, you can find me on Twitter at KingsThings. And if you haven't found Misha already, you apparently don't know much about Twitter. We'll see you next time.